Welcome, everybody, to Generation Viewpoint, and it is a great day to have you here. Don't you say, Evan?
Definitely.
And for everybody out there who's listening, the people who are seeing right now see what's going on, but for those who are listening, we have two guests with us today. Ev, are you excited about this episode?
Heck yeah.
I am truly stoked because today we are going to be interviewing two people who I would honestly, as I've been thinking about this the last week, are modern day adventurers. That's what I would go that far. Maybe not Lewis and Clark, but definitely modern
close.
day. Pretty close, right?
Yeah.
So sitting with us right now is Dave and Joe Deitzer. How you doing, gentlemen?
Good. How about you?
How you doing, Freedom?
And I'm doing well, and we are so glad to have you on here. And Joe, I saw your Facebook post where you have started working at homelessness. Did you?
Yep.
And it made me laugh because, talking about what we're about to talk about here, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm kind of excited about this and I don't know where to go because there's just so much in this thing. But I kind of got stoked up about it because really you are going to be majoring in homelessness for the next how long?
About 5 or 6 months.
5 or 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
For Joe, that really came easy.
He's been there before?
Yeah, but for me, I'm working really hard. It's hard.
It's hard working being homeless.
Yep.
So I want to really spend this episode, guys, focusing in on you guys and hearing what's going on in your minds and what you're thinking. So for everybody listening and watching right now, Joe, you heard a week ago on our podcast, he was living out in Colorado. He was learning to be a cook and really enjoying the process of that, right? Making some progress and really having a good time. And this is the first time that Dave has been able to join us, and I'm glad you're here. Dave was the founder of the Strategic Accountant model, owned an accounting practice, and very successful in his own right as an entrepreneur in the accounting industry. And both of these guys have made a commitment kind of to each other, right? I mean, it really is a commitment to each other to leave what they were doing behind for a short period of time and do something wild. And that's really where I want to kind of key in on you guys because I want you guys to explain what's going on. So, Dave, I'm going to start with you because we got to hear Joe a lot last week, and we're going to hear some more this week. But why don't you? What's going on? Why don't you tell everybody right now what you're about to do in the next 7 days? That's going to be so different than what most people are willing to do.
Yeah, well, Joe and I are heading out on the Appalachian Trail to walk for, thousands and thousands of miles.
Yeah.
2,100 to be exact.
That sounds like a lot of miles.
Yeah, and, the reason, why would any man want to do that, Walk 2,180 miles.
Yeah.
It's over 5 million steps.
Wow.
You're going to burn 7,000 calories a day. I mean, it seems obvious to me. It's because you want to eat whatever you want to eat.
Oh, man. Ev and I, we have to think about it whether we want to get in the car and drive 5 minutes to get Taco Bell, let alone walk 2,100
The
miles.
answer is always no to Taco Bell.
Always no. Yes. I love it. So you guys are going to hit this trail.
Yeah, we're going to hit the trail sometime this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've been planning to do that for a while. Back when Joe was 16, we wanted to go, but my business wouldn't allow it. Too much responsibility.
Yeah.
So I've solved that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sold my business.
Sold your business, which, I mean, let's stop right there for a minute because that's significant. And Joe, when you were sitting in Colorado and you're talking to your father on the phone and you're planning this trip and he's talking about selling his accountant business that he's worked, how many years did you work on your own?
About 10 years.
About 10 years. And he's talking about making that commitment. What was going through your head when your father is telling you what he's willing to do to go out on this adventure?
I don't know. I thought, that's really cool that he's willing to, sell this off and, do what he wants and kind of unburden himself from, a workload and really, go all in on this adventure.
Yeah.
And, I really respect that. That's crazy to just take that leap of faith.
It is crazy.
See what happens.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think there's many young men that get to see their fathers in our age range that step out and take risks like that, right? I think that's very special that you're getting to. I don't know, Evan, what's the craziest thing that you've seen me do in the last while, right?
Not much.
Not much. Thank you, Evan. I
Yeah.
really feel good about myself now.
This podcast is kind of crazy.
It is, you know what? It is
that's
kind of
true.
crazy.
That's true.
That's right. It is kind of crazy. So let me go back in time just a little bit. So since you were, how long ago did you start talking about this adventure? When you were 16?
Yeah, about 16. I started homeschooling.
Okay.
Just because I wanted to do the Appalachian Trail, but didn't work out.
So you talked about doing it, and then life started, or life continued, I should say, and you were doing your thing. What was the big prompt that all of a sudden, you know what, we've talked about it, now we've got to do it? What prompted you to take such a big step and actually do it?
Well, in my business, I've always had like a 5-year plan, and as the first year of the 5-year plan, at the end of this 5 years was a hike the Appalachian Trail, and at the first year, it kind of was a point where we had to make some changes.
Yeah.
And at that point, I realized that, well, in 5 years or 4 years at that time, Joe may be doing something else and involved in his life, have a job or, be married or whatever, and he might not be able to get away. And I may not be able to physically do it 5 years from now. I don't know that I can do it now.
Yeah.
In 4 years, would Joe still be strong enough to carry me?
I don't know. I think Joe can do it, maybe. So. Maybe. But that's awesome. I mean, I was just curious on because it's such a big step. It really is. I remember years ago we were doing this series at the church on, I'm forgetting the name of it right now. But it was talk about manhood, and the guy that was leading it was always talking about taking your kids on adventures and things like that. And he was like, "I've taken my son to the Great Wall of China, and we've done this." And I'm like, "Wow, I've got enough money to maybe go to 2 towns over and have lunch." You know what I mean? So, but it's pretty cool to see you guys really embarking on a true adventure that is going to be life changing because you're going to remember this forever. This is something, Joe, that if you do have kids, you're going to sit your grandkids or your kids on your knee and even your grandkids and say, "Let me tell you a story." And they're like, "No way did you do that." And you're going to be like, "My dad left his career and we did this." They're like, "No way he did that." And you're like, "Yeah, he really did." Right? It's quite amazing. So
sure. Maybe I'll do it with my son someday.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, I'm telling you.
Building a legacy. One step at a time.
So, Ev, let me ask you a question. If we were going to embark on a mission right now, we were going to leave everything behind.
Yeah.
What would it be that you would want to do?
I would enjoy walking the Appalachian Trail.
Okay.
That would be fun.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
There's always the Pacific Crest Trail or the Continental Divide.
Ooh,
Trail.
how about climbing to the top of Everest?
Ev, come on, let's
we just watched a documentary about a couple guys that tamed horses and rode it from Mexico to Canada.
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty wild.
I like that. Yeah, maybe we could do that. So, or maybe just drive somewhere. I like driving.
You could drive to Maine and pick us up.
There you go. Our adventure to Maine.
Yeah.
So the hike for the Appalachian Trail starts where? Where does it start?
Springer Mountain in Georgia.
In Georgia, okay. And it ends in northern Maine or southern Maine, or where does it?
Kind of middle Maine, but
Okay.
it's not on the coast. It's
Baxter Park.
Baxter Park. It's Mount Katahdin in Maine.
Okay. And you'll be starting the first week of April. And how long do you plan on this hike taking to get to the end of it? 2,100 miles.
Well, we originally have planned 4 months.
4 months.
Which would be a pretty fast pace. So we're going to, especially in the beginning, we're just going to take the amount of miles that the trail will allow us to take and our health will allow us to take,
Yeah.
And then maybe towards the end we'll push it. But that would be a fast pace, 4 months.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty cool.
Gotta get your trail legs down.
You got to get the trail legs on, man. I love it. So let me ask, what are the fears that to do something this big, there had to be hesitation and fear, right? Because anytime that courage and adventure are involved, there's fear to overcome. What have been some of the fears and hesitations that you've stared in the eye and have been willing to look past and push through to do something this big? Who wants to go first?
I'll go. I mean, in the beginning is just, to take that amount of time of your life to just say, like, I'm not going to build anything in my career. I'm not going to go to college. I'm not going to, keep moving forward with my life. I'm just going to take this section and I'm going to have an adventure and experience something I'll never be able to.
Yeah.
That was kind of, a fear for me. But, in the end, I always wanted to do it. And this is probably the only time in my life I'm going to be able to.
Yeah.
So, why not? And then another thing would be like you get halfway through the trail and you're just hiking all the time. And I might miss people, society, things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't think it'll be a problem.
Right. Excellent. Dave?
Well, one thing was I'm leaving my wife, so she's been very supportive, which has helped with that. So I was nervous about that, but she's looking at it as she's going to find what God has for her in that time, and she's going to be supporting us with mailing us things, and because we can't carry everything, all our food, so we have to resupply ourselves on occasion. So she's going to be mailing stuff for that. And the other thing is, I think seconding what Joe said about leaving your career. So I sold my business, and here's the thing: is it smart to do an unwise thing?
Wow.
So we always want to be wise with our actions.
Yeah.
And so it would be, I think, fiscally wise.
Yeah.
To bank the money that I've gotten from saving, from selling my business, and go find a job.
Right. Yeah.
Or do something else. But now you're spending it. And furthermore, you're not looking for another job.
Yeah.
So you're still working age, but you're saying, okay, I'm not even going to look.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not even going to start looking until I get back.
That's
and it might
amazing.
take you a while to find something. So, in one hand, you got to recognize that you're lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you think, well, it'd be nice to have that in my retirement.
Yeah.
So,
at the end of the day, I guess it's that decision of, do you want the dollars in the bank, or do you want that memory that most people out there just don't have or are unwilling to get? And that's
right.
I love the slogan though, and you should get a T-shirt made up saying that on it though.
Yes.
Right.
So I didn't know if I should say, is it smart to do something unwise?
Yes.
Or is it wise to do something unwise?
Either way, I'd wear the shirt, right? We got to make it our slogan or something, man. That's fantastic. I love it, man. You need a website called that or something. So let me ask you guys this question. What are you most excited about? Like when you are in that moment, because I'm sure right now you're going up and down, right? There's this excitement, there's this hesitation, there's this excitement, there's this other stuff or preparation. Man, you are cranked up. Like, you're fired up to what? Joe?
Man, I'm just stoked to get on the trail. I'm ready, man.
Yeah?
I'm so excited. I mean, just hiking, walking, being in nature. I grew up in the woods.
Yeah.
And, the woods is where I belong. And
I've heard the stories. You guys poking bears and stuff just for fun. Like, that's crazy. We'll save that story for another day. But I mean, that's insane. Yeah. So you're just excited to get out there.
Yes, sir.
I can tell that you guys are excited because you've already given your code names.
Oh yeah.
What's your trail code name?
Well, he came up with them the other day. I'm Axe and he's Old Spice.
I want to be Stetson, man.
Stetson is horrible.
I know, and that's why I'm not on the trail either, because I don't even have a good name. See, but so Dave, what just gets you, like, when you're in that moment, man, and you got a smile on your face? What are you just cranked up over?
Well, I've always loved spending time with Joe. So now this will probably be the last time in our lives we get to spend this much time together.
4 months straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm pretty psyched about that. I love the physical nature of like being outside and walking and breathing deeply and having a lung capacity, not sitting, not tapping away at a keyboard or looking at lights. You're just, outside in nature.
Yeah.
So I get excited about that, but that's also scary.
Yeah.
You're just outside. So, if it hails, you're outside. If, there's no inside.
Yeah. That's right.
Just outside.
Yeah, it's you and the elements, right?
So if you want inside, you have to make it.
Yeah. Which sounds kind of cool. You know what? If you did this naked, you could be on Naked and Afraid, Just saying.
A client of mine told me that on a certain day in the trail, everyone's supposed to hike naked.
Is that right?
Right.
Maybe in the 100-mile wilderness in Maine. There's no one.
I've heard that trail gets pretty exciting sometimes. So
Yeah.
there's interesting people out there.
So I told my wife, she said, "Don't do that, David."
Is that what? Yeah.
So I'll take her advice.
What was that motto again that you had about?
Is it smart to be unwise?
Yeah. So
In
you have
that
to
case,
think
no.
about. That's awesome. Yeah. So at the end of this hike, 2,100 miles behind you, right?
Yep.
Is there anything that you're hoping for on that last day that you're finishing and you're thinking about? Is there an expectation? Is there a hope? Is there, other than just finishing the hike? That's the physical aspect of it, right? That you completed it. Is there anything that you have a hope for, I guess, in your thinking or in your relationship or anything like that, that you're kind of, I guess, the romantic aspect of the hike? Is there anything there?
I guess it's not really the finish line. It's more of the journey,
Yes.
If you get there, you get there.
Yeah.
If you don't, you still had an amazing experience.
I love it.
And it'll be great just to, feel that. And then we're going to get tattoos, right?
That's right. If we finish it,
Wait
we'll get a
till
tattoo.
Yeah.
If you finish it, you're going to
get
get a
the
tattoo.
Canada. Yeah.
This is fantastic. Can we come and record and podcast while you're getting a tattoo?
Absolutely.
That'd be
Yeah, mark it down, baby. We're going to be there in the parlor with them recording while they get a tattoo. All right?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Your audience can vote on the design if you want to.
Ooh, we like it. Things are getting crazy. Wait a minute. If they get tattoos, will you say they're groovy?
No.
Oh, man.
I won't.
Are you serious?
No.
Come on, man. That's worth it.
I mean, we're getting
2,100
permanent
miles.
stuff on our
No
body.
way. They're doing it because they walked the Appalachian Trail.
They're doing it to get you to say groovy.
No, they're doing it because they you just heard it. They
I
aren't
gotta say
saying it,
that
so I say that.
I'm surprised. I mean, there's got to be something that's big enough in the life for you to set aside your personal feelings about that word.
I don't know. I haven't
say the word.
met what it is yet.
I love it.
Well, it's going to have to be part of your wedding vows.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's awesome.
Find the right girl, he'll say anything.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Probably.
Well, we Evan and I, wish you guys the greatest success, and we've talked about it, just at home and stuff like that about what you guys are about to do, and we are really excited for both of you. I mean, I just think it's inspiring. I really do, and I love it.
Well, you can check up on us in our blog.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask is you guys are going to be doing some blogs and stuff like that. So why don't you give us what your blog address is so everybody can follow you while you're gone?
It's atadventureblog.wordpress.com.
Okay. All right. And we'll put a link into our show notes for everybody who they didn't get that fast. And they can just link on it in there.
Yeah.
And along the way, if you guys want to do like a little guest appearance or whatever, we can always phone you in from the trail too and record and put us out there, put you guys out there as well. So
Yeah, that'd be great.
But we are excited for you. Ev, is there anything that you have to say? You've been a great listener this podcast.
Yeah, I'm a listener this time. I'm
You-
enjoying listening to this podcast.
Yeah. Now, Evan has a goal of seeing all 50 states. It's not the Appalachian Trail, but he does want to see all 50 states. So that's a pretty noble cause.
Not too many people can say that.
Yeah. Before I'm 30.
Before you're 30. And you have to get a tattoo of each state on you.
Well,
No, but I'm going to get a T-shirt from every state.
you go. Make a quilt.
Get patches. You can get patches and put them on a jacket.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
how old are you now?
I'm 18.
Oh
That's
my
how old I am.
goodness.
My birthday was the other day.
So in 12 years, you want to visit 50 states.
Yep.
So that's 4 a year
Yep.
plus 2.
Or 50 and 1.
That would be
And you have
interesting.
11 to spare.
Yeah.
You know me, just go do it, man,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys again for joining us, and that was going to wrap us up here. And thank everybody for joining us today and listening in. And hope you guys will go to their blog and follow them on their great adventure. And I hope that this is an inspiration. I mean, really, the reason behind this podcast is to inspire people to work on relationships and to do things that ordinarily they wouldn't do. And hopefully this is a little bit of an inspiration to people who are watching and listening to. You may not have to hike the Appalachian Trail 2,100 miles. But you certainly can do something different today or tomorrow that you don't normally do to make an impact in your life and somebody's life who's nearby that you love or that you don't even know. And that's really the whole point. So thanks again for joining us. Hope you guys all have a great week, and we'll see you again soon.
See ya.
Remember, we're on iTunes and Stitcher, and as always, thanks for being awesome.